4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Jason J. Daniels Show. What an amazing win by the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark comes back. The return of Caitlin Clark. And she goes Thanos on him. Snaps her fingers. Back-to-back three-pointers in a 40-second span. Assists, rebounds, just leads the offense. Aggressive, fierce, physical, drives to the hoop. She hit the mid-range jumper. She's all over the place. Logo threes, rocks the Liberty. The Fever beat down the Liberty. 102 beat down. GOAT Thanos leads the charge, just steps up to the plate and knocks out not one home run, but 3 home runs in a 40-second span. She's driving to the hoop. She is intimidating the defense. She's unstoppable. They had to contain her themselves. The Fever had to contain Caitlin. The only way to take her out of the game was if the coaches sat her down. She looked fresh. She didn't look tired at all. The announcers at one point said, she looks tired. She looked fucking tired. She was an animal. She was a beast. She was ready to go. There is no doubt in my mind, and there shouldn't be any doubt in your mind either, that this is the greatest woman to ever play this game. Damn, one of the greatest players of any gender to ever touch a basketball and to be on a professional court. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that this is the greatest player we've seen in 20 years, maybe 30 years. She is your MJ. She is your Kobe. She is your new generational talent. And you just need to get on the boat, man. You need to get off the shore and quit crying about the players in the past. Quit crying about the fact that you didn't get opportunities, WNBA. Quit crying about the fact that she comes out of nowhere and she's supposedly getting all this attention. She came out of hard work. She came out of complete focus and motivation. She came out of intentionality. This is a woman who had a dream and had vision, and she accomplishes these visions and these dreams. This is a woman who is committed to being a champion. Well, it's in your blood. Either it's in your blood or it's not, but she's got it. She's got the tiger blood. She's got the GOAT blood. She is your Thanos, WNBA. And that's your intro, man. Welcome to the Jason J. Daniels Show. Man, what a crazy game, man. You guys should be excited. We're celebrating. I'm celebrating. Make sure my chair's good. Hold on. Okay, got to make sure my chair. Sorry, it's live. It's live video. Guys, my name is Jason J. Daniel. I'm live all over the internet. So what I have to do now is I have to do a sound check. So my apologies. I got a lot going on my phone right now. My apps are crashing. So let's just let's do a quick little sound check here, and we'll be on our way. Let's see how we sound. Takes a second here. Anyway, we'll once we reset here, we'll be on our way. What an incredible win! The Indiana Fever. Here we go. Takes a second here. Okay, here we go. The Indiana Fever. They came into their own home court, and they gave the New York Liberty one of the fiercest beatdowns you can give a defending championship team. I just have so many great things to say. I know you have so many great things to say about this. This is one of the best games I've ever watched. It's one of the most intense games I've ever watched. I want to say in 10 years. I have hated basketball until Caitlin Clark. I have to be honest with you. Like, I'm obviously a basketball fan. Clearly, I know basketball. I've watched it for years. But I absolutely hated basketball until she came along. I hated the NBA because it's fake and it's phony. There's all sorts of cheating. Guys step on the line. They'll give them a three. They'll get them into the playoffs when they haven't deserved it. You've got guys that are double dribbling. They're not calling it. You saw it in the finals last night. All sorts of shenanigans because the game is just not fundamental. There's all these players that have come into the NBA, and they're just not able to perform without help from the referees and smoke and mirrors. Caitlin Clark is real. She is a real thing. She is so real that she can take a team that's essentially a 500 team without her, put them on her back, and just smoke the competition. She at will lit them up, like at will. Like the last time I've seen a player at will do that was Kobe Bryant, and you remember he did that a few times, where within a minute span, 90 seconds or something like that, 60 seconds, he scored 9 points, 11 points, and just put his team back in the game or override the other team, and they'll never make a comeback. The New York Liberty are a very good team, but they need advantages. One of the advantages is they need the referees to help them. The refs tried to do that, but they weren't able to really do that like they've done with other teams, because the Fever are just too fast for the referees in a lot of cases for them to fix the game. And I think that's a real great way to overcome what we know happens with the referees. Now, we'll get to that in a little bit. That's a little teaser. I want to take a moment to say thank you guys for watching. All of you on Rumble, I see you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Rumble. I really appreciate that. Again, my name is Jason J. Daniel, and this is the Jason J. Daniel Show. I do a post-game show after every Fever game. This is our 10th game, our 10th show. So I'm glad to have you watching if this is the first time. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Jason J. Daniel. I do a lot of interviews and podcasting, but I'm a huge fan, as you know, of the Indiana Fever. Go Thanos. Go Thanos is the headline. She came in and made the New York Libs basically look like a bunch of amateurs in the second half. Now, they hung in there, but they really weren't able to keep up with her. She was such a difference maker. I mean, she's such a game changer just by being on the court. But the one thing I think is really important to understand is the New York Liberties learned a really serious lesson, which is if we don't have a weaker team to beat down on, if we don't have the referees fixing this game for us, if we don't have our full complement, they did have some injuries, no JJ, then you're going to lose to a better team. The Indiana Fever are not a better team, but they were a better team today. They're a better team at home. And moving forward, they are just as good as the Liberty or anybody else. Caitlin Clark had a 19-day rest? She had a long rest. And I'm going to have to tell you, that was one of the worst things that they could have ever given Caitlin Clark. I have to say, hats off. Okay, here's another headline for you. Hats off to the Fever medical staff. They're the real MVPs. They are the real MVPs. I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen a player come back from injury and do that. Like what she did was like she was healthier than her first few games. That's why I really feel like she had a lingering injury and they covered it up or they just didn't pay attention to it. Maybe she didn't talk about it, but I feel like she was injured those last two games. And one of them was against the Liberty last time. I do feel like she had an injury that was nagging and that she needed to take a break. Clearly she did. So whatever the Fever medical staff is doing, I fucking love you. Keep doing it. I will never doubt you ever again because that was insanity. Not only did she come back and look stronger, I mean, the legs looked fine. She looked like she had a year-long break. Like the break was like she looked so rested. The legs looked so good. She was leaping in the air for those jumpers. She wasn't you'll notice a lot of jumpers in the W are on the floor. They start on the floor, they roll up, right? To get that three, right? To extend their body. You'll see a lot of players extend the front half of their body because as long as you get that ball over, when you release it a little farther over, it gives you an advantage. So it's technically a shorter shot. As long as your feet are behind the line when you jump up, that's a three. She doesn't need that shit. She's at the logo. She's jumping straight up and launching. I don't think people realize her range is so strong that she has to arc it. She has to pull back a little bit to make sure she doesn't overshoot the basket. That shows you she's healthy. Now going into the next, week or two, when she's back in and out of the game and the travel and all those things, sure, we'll see a little bit of a different performance, but maybe not that different. I don't know what to tell you. Like that was unstoppable. Like I don't need to tell you what you saw. You saw it for yourself. That was a literal clinic. That was a literal shooting gallery. She just lit them up like she lit them up like a Christmas tree. It was like she's like, "Hi, I'm Santa. I'm going to put some gifts around the tree for my team. I'm going to light you up. As I'm going to light you up as a Christmas tree. It was like she made the New York Liberty her mission, and she delivered. And so I have a message. I have a message for the WNBA. And I know a lot of you guys watch this after the fact. You don't watch it live, so I appreciate that. Make sure you share this. I will clip this because this is important for the rest of the WNBA. I'm going to help you guys. I'm going to help all you fakers out there. You need to be on notice, okay, that no matter what you do with Caitlin Clark in the game, it just doesn't matter, okay? It just doesn't matter. Let me show you something here. The Liberty, okay? They shot really well in stretches. You had Zanescu, who came out and what was her? She had 34, right? And then Caitlin had 32. It just doesn't matter. Sinescu is being fundamental and trying to hit all her shots. She's a real boring player, but she'll score. She'll sneak up those points on you. She's trying to play fundamentally, but it just doesn't matter. You've got Breanna Stewart moving those elbow, like doing MMA on people in the paint, knocking people down. It just doesn't matter. When Caitlin Clark is on the floor, it just doesn't matter. I just say let every team be on notice. It just doesn't matter. And what I saw was the New York Liberty. I saw them mentally broke down at the end of the game. Now, they played pretty strong until the third quarter when they realized, even in the fourth, they knew it was over. They really did. But they hung in there. But I'll say this. I've never seen a team at the very end of a game get a possession and not try to take a basket and just let the shot. I've never seen that. I understood the Fever doing it to get that win and just kind of say, we're that dominant. But then when they got a possession back, I know it didn't matter, but it was really key to me to see them not even try and let the clock run out. So essentially for the last 40 seconds of the game, they just gave up. That's crazy. 102 to 88. That's crazy, man. I also have to just say, and I know I sound like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but dudes, I know what good basketball is, and we saw it today. And I know what generational basketball is. We saw it tonight. We did not see a Caitlin Clark come in and need to get a warm-up. We didn't see her needing to catch her breath. We saw a monster who was so dominant, everybody else looked like they were just warming up. And I have another message for the W, okay? I'm trying to help you guys out here. It is over for you, okay? It is over for you fools. It is done. She has proven that there is no one better in this game. She is the MVP. She will not get the MVP. It's ludicrous to not give her the MVP. Nobody comes in and does this and is not a contender for MVP. And I have another tip for the W. Your best strategy going forward, is to now make sure Caitlin Clark never gets hurt ever again. You need to send her roses. You need to treat her well. You need to tip her medical staff, because if she's ever hurt again and gets another layoff, she's going to come out and just rip your heart out. So the safest thing for the W is to let her play and to let her just tire herself out, because you're not going to do it. No bullying is going to do it anymore. The assault on the court, not going to happen anymore. You've noticed most of those people last year that would assault her on the court, would attack her, try to hurt her. You notice most of them are not in the W anymore. You know why? Because they weren't real players. They were just hack job players, amateurs, and they were used as attack dogs to try to intimidate her and make sure she didn't do what she did today. They don't need games like this. Yes, we need it. We want it. It's great for the game. It is great for them, but they don't want this. They do not want Caitlin Clark to come out and be Caitlin Clark, because if you were watching her in college, you will know there was nobody like her. This is what she did almost every game in college. She was unguardable. And did you notice when the referees actually had to call the game fairly? She was unguardable. When you can't guard Caitlin with the refs helping you, when the refs won't let you mug her and pull her and punch her in the face and do all the things they let the players do to her last year, She will not be denied. She'll not be stopped. And that's what you saw today. You saw Go Thanos. I just like, she's like, and they're vanishing. She was just like, they put on that's why I'm wearing my purple, my bluish purple. I'm wearing my Thanos jersey, my Caitlyn Thanos jersey or t-shirt. But she went Thanos on the motherfuckers. I stood up the whole time. I was on the edge of my seat, just shouting at my TV going, whoa. It's like, whoa, it's just like unbelievable, man. Another 3. Like, that was one of the greatest things to see. It's what I wish I had been there. Of course I wasn't. But the second best thing is to watch it on 4K, high D. It's one of the greatest things to see a player like that just fearlessly go back to back to back. And what's really cool about Caitlyn is she thinks she's going to make every 3. She thinks she's going to do it. So she's fearless, and that's how you manifest your destiny when you're freaking fearless. Now, you got to be very skilled, which she is skilled, but she's fearless. I'll show you how fearless she was, or I'll talk about it with you. Go Thanos. Okay, here's her percentages. Got the wrong paper. Got to get my papers. She was 60% shooting the entire game. She was 60% shooting, okay? Let's talk about the GOAT. Okay, so for K-Trix, she's like the Matrix. That's she was doing everything. She was 360 in the lane, getting the 3-point play. She was dribbling the ball like a magician. 32 points. She was 8 assists, 9 rebounds, almost sniffing a triple-double. Unbelievable. On top of 32 points. She scored 25, I believe, in the first half, which was, I believe, her season high ever in a first half. Or maybe even season high. I don't know. I didn't quite check that stat, but 32 is all I need to see. She is a K-Trix, and she shot 50% at 50%. Okay, for threes. Okay, 7 threes, and she was 55% shooting in general. I'm sorry, 60% free throws. She was 55% altogether, 50%. I'm sorry, I'm getting so excited to get my stats mixed up. You know what I mean. All right, she was unbelievable. She was unstoppable. She had 7 threes. And when earlier in the game, she was 49%. And I think at the first half, she was 49%. I should have put half. At the halftime, she was 49. She was 49% and ended with 50% shooting on threes. Like, dude, it's crazy stuff, man. It's crazy stuff. So, I'm still coming down from how crazy that game was. The other thing I thought that was, I'll just give you some headlines, today. I'll give you the headlines, guys. Thanks for watching on Rumble. I'll just give you my major. I mean, there's so many things to talk about with this game, but I'll give you my major, headlines. I have some things. And then, okay, I'm going to bring you up because this is a very exciting win to celebrate. Yeah. Sorry, I have a little mic trouble here. I get so touchy-feely and my mic gets weird. This is a momentous moment for this team in so many ways. It is a season-changing game, and I'll try to explain the nuances that I saw that makes me really feel amazing about the future. Now, obviously, injuries, things you can't control. The destiny is in the hands of fate in a lot of ways. Yes, their destiny is in their hands if they do play their cards right, but luck has a lot to do with it. But let's just talk about what we control. So I'm going to give you the nuances that I really loved, okay? I'm going to tell you what I really loved with this. And one of the things I really loved is that Kelsey Mitchell is Scotty now to Clark's MJ. That was brilliant. I'm hard on her, and we're hard on her when they lose. Kelsey Mitchell, that I'm hard on her. I call her Kelsey, Cowboy Kelsey, because she'd shoot you out of a game. I'm looking for Kelsey Mitch chill because she just has no chill. I need her to slow down. We're starting to see that. I didn't think she was coachable. We're starting to see she is. And I told you last show, I think it was last show. Yeah, I told you last show that yeah, I think because of the loss, I told you that the only person that can coach Kelsey Mitchell is Caitlin Clark. And that was very clear to me. Caitlin coaches her on the floor. She coaches her in her personal life, when they're, one-on-one. She coaches her on the sidelines. I see Kelsey Mitchell respects Caitlin Clark. That's the kind of person she is. I know she listens to Stephanie White, but I just don't think Stephanie can get to her because Kelsey is instinctual and she's just an animal on the court. She wants to score. She's only one gear, right? So if you tell Kelsey Mitchell, I need you to go hard here, but I need you to chill there, she goes chill all the way or hard all the way. It's hard for her. But I think if she feels she's an instinctual player that feels energy, if she can feel the energy of someone like Caitlin who supports her, they're always looking for each other. That was pretty key. I love that. So Kelsey Mitchell is now playing Scotty to the MJ. She's not the MJ. She had to carry this team for a long time by herself. When they were losing games, it was just Kelsey Mitchell. Then they draft Caitlin. And last year, Kelsey had a really tough time adjusting to that. I can appreciate that. I think deep down, she's a really good person. I really do. I think Kelsey Mitchell has a big heart. I think she's a really big time teammate, right? A team player. But I also think she really needs to get hers. I know that she knows that she's very good and she wants to get hers. And the next level for her is a championship. And I think now she's starting to get that. I don't think she got it last year, but now she's getting it, that her next step is a championship. And she'll never do it without somebody like Caitlin. Because when it comes to greatness and good players and elite players, Kelsey Mitchell's a very good player. Borderline elite, you got to win a championship, but she's getting there. And it's hard to listen to people who have never been there, right? When you're really good and you have a lot of skills, it's hard to listen to somebody who doesn't have your skill set because they can't mentor you because they just don't understand. Caitlin Clark is the only one that can probably mentor her because Caitlin is amazingly skilled. Like that's even an understatement. She's just go THANOS. I mean, there's nobody like that. Like she does on the court what Kelsey Mitchell wants to do. And I love that Kelsey sees that. And she's got that potential. Kelsey Mitchell can give you 3 back-to-backs. And she will probably see that this year because that mentorship on the floor is extremely powerful. It's infectious. And that is the kind of player she is. She is a raw player that is she needs that infectious, like emotional rush. And hell, that's sports. We all need that. We love that. This team thrives on that. Last year, that's how they won games, is they got that emotional push. It got them through. This year, they have a coach that's technical. They have teammates that have won championships. They have veterans. They have a path. They have people who've been there. You cannot underestimate how key everyone on this team is. That's why when there's an injury, it affects everybody because they're that tight. It's that. I think that this team is the puzzle pieces have been put together so well that if you pull one piece out, the whole thing can fall down. It's a blessing and a curse. But I think with this little trial they went through, trial by fire, I think it's really important that they understood that they do have what it takes to win games without Caitlin in the right situations, but they don't have what it takes to win a championship. That's the difference. With her, they're definitely championship contenders. And we'll get into that. But what I saw was a championship team taking apart the current championship team. That was masterful. And it wasn't a last minute bucket. It wasn't a 3 at the end to put you into overtime. It wasn't something exciting like that. It was an exciting beatdown where this game was over by 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. And then it was just the fever understanding how to finish a team like that. You can see them growing in all these things they're doing. I just saw so many cool things. So I am really proud of Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, I'm obviously proud of Kate the Great, but I'm really proud of Kelsey Mitchell, who just decided that she's going to win a championship. I can tell she's decided it's all or nothing for her. She puts her body on the line. She's putting her reputation on the line. She's allowing herself to be coached now. I'm very happy with that. And without Caitlin on the floor, it's always a mixed bag with her. But with Caitlin now back in the mix, I feel great about the future for her chemistry. Sorry. I just keep talking and talking. So tonight's going to be fun. Great sports day. We got the UFC. If you're a UFC fan, I'm a big UFC fan. I'm going to start possibly doing some UFC post games in the future, but just stay tuned for that. But right now, this is taking up a lot of time, and I love this. So excited about that. Let's talk about glass. We saw some good rebounding numbers. I'm really excited about that. Let me see if I can find those rebound numbers. Good rebounding. Oh, here we go. All right, sorry. Here we go. All right. Let's see here. Free throw percentage. Ooh, now I said rebounds, but I'm excited. So let's get into both. Here we go. Okay, so rebounds. The Fever had 38 to 38 to 30. Let me see how this reads here. Sorry, little lost here. Where's the line here? Okay, largest lead. Yeah, so 30. Oh, they were out rebounded a little bit. So, so 34-38, but they still did really well. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure these stats out here. Sometimes they print out a little odd, and then when I look at them, I'm like, oh, because I didn't get a chance to check them out. I'm sorry, no, I'm wrong. 38-34. The Fever did rebound them by 4 over, so which was really great. The assist 25-17. Caitlin Clark just makes such a difference. Steals 10 steals actually for the Liberty, which was interesting. A lot of it was easy turnovers, really. Total turnovers 12-13. Like I told you guys before, turnovers don't really matter in the WNBA. They make a thing of that stat, but I'm learning that not every turnover is converted, and sometimes it's a turnover for a turnover for a turnover for a turnover. It gets crazy in the W. I don't know why that is, but turnovers are just more of a thing that you manage. You can't really contain them. So I don't really sweat turnovers so much anymore. Fast break points. What was interesting is the Fever had only 19 because a lot of those shots were like threes that weren't considered fast break points that were going in. And then the Fever shot more free throws, which was dope. So, but on the glass, they were rebounding like animals. Aaliyah Boston had kind of a tough she had a tough first half, but Caitlin said at the end of the broadcast that was the plan of the Liberty to take Boston out of the game. And she said, and that's what opened us up to just shoot the lights out. And it's just, again, she's so smart. She has such a great IQ. They adjusted to that defense because the truth is Boston can smoke you, right? If she gets down there, she's really skilled. Like Aaliyah Boston's footwork is so good. Again, she's a number 1 draft pick in her 3rd year. She's going to be an all-star again this year. She is a really, really, really good player. And she's good defensively and good offensively. She's really good offensively. And she's definitely starting to really feel it. And Caitlin and her have a great connection. It's great because Caitlin has good chemistry with a lot of the players on this team. I'd say most all of them. But, when it's offensively on the floor, you can tell where she's going to go. But she also has a lot of options. Now, let's talk about the shooting. So, yes, it was incredible, right? The shooting was bananas. We were getting wild over it. But they're missing layups, man. And Caitlin did gun the ball in there a few times, a little fast. I really think, and I'm seeing this with like Sophie. I see this with Sophie Cunningham. Like when because she plays in the backcourt on defense a lot, right? So she's usually going to be the one that's going to be, she has longer arms, longer legs. She's going to be the one that Caitlin's going to try to outlet to if she gets a lead on the, when she gets the ball and she's moving forward in the court. If she gets a couple of steps on the defense, she's going to fire that ball, right? She's going to do that pass, right? We know that's what Caitlin does. It's hard to catch that. And if you don't think it is, you should get out there and try. It's kind of impossible. So I don't blame these ladies for missing the layup because catching the pass is hard enough. And they're like, okay, got that. And then mentally, so it's a mental adjustment. Then you go and you got defense on you and you got somebody might block you and you have to make quick decisions. That's why quick decision makers, good basketball IQ players win championships. But they're getting there. So I saw Sophie earlier in the game. There was one she kind of mishandled. It was tough. It was a tough one. And then there was a second one. She threw her body into it and got it. So you got to throw your body into a Caitlin pass. You have to make decisions to possibly get hurt to catch a Caitlin pass. But that's just the way it is in pro sports. Like every play is a life or death, serious. Well, I mean, okay, not life and death, but I'll just say it's injury or not injury. I mean, that's the way it is in basketball and football. You never know. Every play is its own universe. You just don't know. Sorry, guys, my throat's a little dry, so you just don't know what you're going to get, especially with the Caitlin Clark pass. So the shooting, I loved it, but then there were moments I'm like, oh my God, hit a layup, baby, but it was okay because, you know, they really didn't miss any shots that really hurt them, and I loved that. Now, I'll point this out. Howard is very selfish. There was a couple of moments where, and one especially, where she got the ball in the paint. She was going one-on-one for like 25 minutes. She was like doing all these things, and Caitlin's on the perimeter going, hey, I'm over here. And you can even hear her yell, hey, she's wide open and she's hot. Like Caitlin never had a heat check. She was hot the whole game, right? I mean, she missed a few, but still, she's hot. And Howard was just doing all these things and then made the bucket. But I was like, that was the most selfish. She didn't care about anybody. But I'm like, you know what? You go, girl. She's never present. I mean, it's rare that she's like in the game, because if she had been present and available for anybody else, she would have known that the pass is out here. But hey, they were all hot, and I love that, and it was pretty dope. So let's talk about. Oh, let's go back to Boston a little bit. So Boston is killing me on her clanks, though. They all shot better as a team, free throw wise. But Boston still killing me on the clanks. All right, still not clanking. She's still killing me. But she just needs to work on that. It's a mental thing. It's you know, there's a lot of adrenaline. You're geared up. You're getting beat up down there. You're trying to be, you know, basketball is an incredibly technical game. You're getting physical on defense. You're pushing, and then you got to go back on offense. And you got to have like a light touch and things like that. It's very technical. So that's why it takes special players to be at that level, especially when you're in the paint. So, I mean, I think, I think she's the only one. I think we need to hit your free throws, man. Can you hit those free throws? I want to take a moment, if you're watching, to say, please follow me on TikTok, Real Jason J. Daniel. I do a lot of NBA talk. I'm sorry, WNBA talk, NFL talk, and all that when the NFL season's coming up. But if you want to see more of my TikToks, 8,000 followers, and my TikToks do go viral. 500,000 here and there. 250,000, 200,000. They're a lot of fun. Sorry, guys. I'm just choking myself out. So, but you know, I'll fight through it. I'll fight through it like Caitlin would. So just a little commercial there. So let's talk about beef stew and beef stewie and the Liberties for a second. This is important. They call her Stewie, which is always kind of gross to me. So I'm like, I think just call her beef stew. She's big and beefy, and she'll give you some chops. She'll give you some lamb chops to the face. She'll pork chop you. Boom. She's gangly and tough to stop. She's very skilled. She's a big cat. So call her Beef Stewie. Beef Stewie had a good game, according to Beef Stewie numbers. She and this is important. She had a really good game. Ionescu had a great game too. 34 points, as we know. Ionescu. It was super boring. Very technical, but just a boring player to watch. But she's hard to stop. She's really hard to stop. She's got this lanky move. She's faster than she looks, but she looks slow in real time. It's weird. She's very skilled. But what I really liked is that Boston worked really hard on Stewie and took Beef Stew out of her game a little bit. And I think that showed a lot for Boston. And I think that's the reason why Boston in the first half was getting kind of tired out and didn't get a lot of opportunities, missed a layup here or there, because she's really working hard on the defensive end. Because I think they're learning that when you play like Frankengrinder, you play Beef Stew, you play some bigger cats that like to work and feast in the paint, you're going to have somebody that's going to bring that defensive presence, because if you start losing in the paint, it's a real indicator the game's going to get away from you. And we all know that was a huge problem. They were able to score in the paint, but it was tough for them to stop really good paint players. Beef Stewie's a great paint player, and I really liked what they did to try to take Beef Stew out of that game. Another thing about them is it's pretty clear to me, and they tried to cook it in this game, but it's tough to cook the Fever, because the Fever have been working the referees and studying them, and I could tell they were doing that because of things I saw. Brilliant stuff. Really smart coaching. They're learning these referees. They're working them. I could see what the strategy is. At first, I was like, they're doing a lot. It was starting to get on my nerves a little bit, thinking, they're yelling at the refs a lot in the first 4 games or whatever. Then they get to game 6, and Caitlin's hurt, so there's not much, but she's still yelling at him at the side, and I'm like, okay. But it's clear to me, look, they know the inside story. They know it. They live it. It's really clear to me that the refs are very, very corrupt, and they can be moved either way. They can be swayed. They can be motivated. They can probably be bribed. I'm feeling this. I think that if they get national TV time because they're arguing with Caitlin, I think that makes them happy. I actually think that that's working the referees. The more the referees get a chance to be featured, the more they're on TV, they start loving that shit. Everybody does. Be honest with you. I work in TV. I'm an actor. Everybody loves to be on TV. It makes people crazy. Being on TV changes people. People can't handle it. People take advantage of it, and everybody wants to be on TV. Think about what I'm saying. Think about if you had an opportunity to be on TV. Wouldn't you take it? You'd take it in a heartbeat. Some people would sell their families out to be on TV. So a lot of it has to do with getting these referees' attention. They love that. So I'm starting to learn that that's what the Fever are doing. So when Caitlin is arguing with the referees, it's a strategy to give them FaceTime, TV time, and that will connect the referees with the Fever, and the Fever will start getting some favorable attention from the referees. I saw that happening this game. But let's talk about what they do with the New York Liberty. I can tell the WNBA has ordered these referees to cook the game for the Lynx or the Liberty, usually the Liberty, because they were on a winning streak, kind of like what the NFL did with the Chiefs. They want these teams to succeed. They want teams to be like a juggernaut. They don't need everyone to be mediocre, because most of these teams are mediocre. A lot of them are at bottom of the barrel. They're all kind of 500 teams fighting each other. Now, when you got a superstar like Caitlin, that's a different story, but not every team has a superstar. So the New York Liberty need to be helped out. So the refs, and there's been a lot of complaints on this. I see it on social, but I saw it today. They will start chopping the game up in the third quarter against the team that the Liberty are playing, so that the Liberty can gain an advantage, and it usually messes that other team up. Weaker teams, that would mess them up. So whenever a team gets close to them or they start to get the lead, the refs will chop it up, start calling fouls, slow the game down, and give the New York Liberty an advantage, because they work a really good half-game offense. That's one of the strengths of the New York Liberty. They don't need to shoot the lights out on you. They just need to get in that inside perimeter, get in that paint. Linescu works on the outside. Beef Stewie works on the inside, and that's hard to stop. And then every once in a while, you got Cloud who can put a three-point in. So then you have some rogues on the outside, but it's a really good, dangerous offense. It takes a lot of energy to stop that offense, because it's almost like, think of a 3-cog wheel. Like think of it in like a middle wheel, a mid wheel, and a longer wheel on the outside. You've got all these things going, and the ball's just moving around through it. It's really tricky to stop unless you have an offense that's ahead of that. So when they're playing on their game, they're very good as it is. When they get that help from the referees, they're unstoppable, right? Unbeatable until today. So I am seeing that is a pattern for the WNBA to encourage the referees to get a team to look dominant like that. Look, the Fever now may start getting that treatment. Now, the one thing I'll say about I was really upset over this. I haven't been upset this year yet until today. Usually, like all year last year, I was really upset. If you go into my archive, you'll see all the TikToks I did on Caitlin getting hit and injured, or they were attempting to injure her. The intimidation, the assault, all that stuff was making me super angry. Haven't really seen a lot of that, right? We haven't talked about that. We see Caitlin doesn't get the calls, but that's really the extent of it until today. Cloud is a fucking dirty player. Cloud was getting frustrated because Caitlyn could not be stopped. And it was right after Caitlyn dropped those threes and ended the game for them. I could tell Natasha Cloud was really upset over that. So there was a moment where Caitlyn was trying to get free. It was an inbound, and you'll remember that moment. And they showed a replay, which I was really proud of because I backed it up and I saw it. Then they showed a replay, and then Lobo lied about it though because Lobo covers everything up. She said it was an accident. It was not an accident. You don't accidentally give somebody the inside of your forearm. That wasn't Lobo was saying that Cloud was trying to do the swim move. He wasn't doing a fucking swim move. You don't do a swim move like that. You do it wasn't a swim move. So she hits Caitlyn in the face with the elbow, okay? In the jaw. The play has to stop, and that was fucking dirty. I knew Cloud did it on purpose because that was what they did last year. She's part of that old dirty guard that if you can't beat Caitlyn, you hurt Caitlyn. In the entire game, Cloud looked absolutely average. Caitlin Clark made her look average. And then after that happened later on in the game, Caitlin was going at her and Caitlin was beating her. She was shooting threes over the entire team because Cloud couldn't lock her down and stop her. Remember last game where Cloud got the questionable foul or whatever it was? I understood. You don't ever be in that situation. You never have to worry about that. So what they did was not get in that situation again by passing them up points-wise, just hitting them really hard and not being a situation where you need a last-minute shot against somebody that dirty, right? So Caitlin already knew. She had studied her. I could tell. She knew how to get separation against her. Her game has just drastically improved in the 19 days she was off. You could tell she wasn't just fucking around. She was studying, and she was prepared. She has to be prepared for people like Cloud. Look, I think I had respect for Natasha Cloud until that moment. I don't have any respect for her anymore because that was dirty. That was a move out of frustration because you're getting beat, because you're tired. You don't have the cardio. Caitlin's on top of you. She's murdering you. She's embarrassing you. She can't be stopped by you, and so you have to hit her in the face. There was no excuse for that. It was very dirty, and I'm still upset over it. So she's a fucking dirty player, and I'm never gonna have respect for her. I will respect the game, but I'm not gonna have respect for her. And I'm so glad she got beat today, and I'm so glad Caitlin embarrassed her because she deserved it. There's no room for that anymore in the league. The viciousness, the pettiness, the attacking faces, the scratching, the hitting in the jaw, the hitting in the temple, poking the eye. That's WWE shit. That was old league. Not anymore. We're done with that. So Natasha Cloud needs to grow up. That was a childish, immature move, and I will have no respect for it. And I'm glad they got beat down. I will not tolerate that shit. They hurt her. They hurt Caitlin. It hurts all of us. It hurts the game. It hurts competition. You need to play fair to Cloud. Cloud needs to play fair and understand we're not putting up with that shit. And I saw it for what it was. There you go. She's fucking dirty. So, and back to what I was saying earlier. Why the physical assault stuff? Why was that a thing last year? Well, everybody was like, it's jealousy. Well, yeah, it was. But a lot of it was predicated on Caitlin Clark makes everybody look fucking average. And when you're somebody like Cloud, who, she's a great defender, all Rebecca Lobo just slurping the sausage. She's a great player, slurping the sausage on her and making a thing of it. And she is an average player when it comes to somebody like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is so good that she makes the good players look average because this league is a bunch of amateurs to a certain point. We all know that. For example, let's look at Dallas. Dallas Wings, it's a joke. It's a joke. There was a clip from a game last night where one player who I won't even mention right now, who's an absolute fucking clown and a joke, decided to argue with her coach instead of playing in the next play, and the team scored on him. She just took herself out of the play. That's like you suspend a player for that. You cut them from the team. Like that is a mortal sin in basketball. But that's the kind of clownery, that's the kind of circus that goes on in most of these franchises in the WNBA. But people like me, people like you, people that care about the game, we're bringing an accountability to it. We want real basketball. It's too late. We're here. See, Caitlin brought us. Now we're paying attention, and you have to submit to us good basketball. You can't be amateur shit. You can't be amateur hour. Can't be clown night. Can't be circus night. This is not your playground. This belongs to all of us. Sports belong to all of us. Basketball belongs to all of us. We pay for this. Fans pay for this. If it wasn't for the fans paying for it or caring about it, nothing would be going on. So Caitlin Clark makes these losers seem average, and they have a hard time with it. So last year when she came in and she was so better than everyone, they were jealous, yes, and all the other things that came along with it. But the physical stuff was because they couldn't keep up with her. So the best way they could keep up with her was try to hurt her. And that's immature, amateur hour stuff. So that's why Cloud did what she did. She has the old mentality. She doesn't appreciate Caitlin Clark. I can tell who appreciates her now, and I can tell who doesn't. And she keeps that shit up, she will eventually be cut from the league. Because make no mistake, the people that aren't in the league now who are hitting Caitlin Clark and assaulting her, they're not playing in the league anymore. One, because they weren't good enough, and two, because we're not going to tolerate that shit. We're not. And those are the kind of players that will keep doing those things and get away with it. Nobody wants to play with those kind of people. And Cloud, who, by the way, travels all the time, by the way, cheats all the time. Look, there are times she plays very well, and I'll give her props, but she is an average player when it comes to somebody as great as Caitlin Clark. Look, I'll get off the soapbox, but that just made me super angry. Super, super angry. So let's see. I want to make sure I got all my points out here. And we'll wrap this up. I don't think I'll need to break the game down for you. You guys watched it. I like to do game breakdowns when there's a lot of technical things. I think they're important, but I don't think I need to do that. I mean, I have a few notes I'll dig into, but really quick. Let's see here. Want to make sure I don't miss. Look, I think I got everything. So you guys, if you guys are joining me, here's a little commercial for you. If you just started watching, I'm streaming live on X. I'm on Rumble. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitch, and I'm going to add Kick. We're streaming everywhere. So I like to stream my show live and get it right out there. Thanks for watching. If you're just watching it the first time or watching it later, my name is Jason J. Daniel. I have a podcast, The Jason J. Daniel Show. I do a lot of sports. I do like 70% sports, but then I also do other stuff, which is kind of cool. Check in on that. Appreciate that. And please sub and follow. I want to say thank you for subbing ahead of time. Please subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Rumble. I gained about 250 to 300 YouTube subscribers in the last 30 days. So thank you guys. My Rumble subscribers are going up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Overall, I'm 25,000 on all my social media. That might not be a lot for some people, but that's huge for me. So thank you guys. Appreciate that. Thank you for the commercial. Okay. So let's see here. A couple of things we need to talk about. One, let's see here. Okay. So, no, my graphic jumped in and off. Okay, so let's wrap with these things. Okay, it's good to be hyped. I want to bring us down to some reality here. Okay, I'm going to bring us down. Okay. So it's good to be hyped, but I want us, so we got through it. We're excited. We're hyped. This is a great win. I don't want to take anything away from that. Like Caitlin said in her interview at the end, this is fever basketball. And I totally agree with her. I was like, this is the excellence of execution. This is how it goes. This is a championship winning strategy, a championship team energy. Okay, so it's good to be hyped. So I'm going to give you some bad news first, or I'm just bring you down a bit to settle you. Then I'll give you great news. Okay, so I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to help you out. It's really good to be hyped over this win, but let's talk some reality. One, let's just level set. This team is still back to 7 overall in the standings. Okay? That's barely making the playoffs, and that's okay, but you're not in that top playoff tier yet. So we have to stay reasonable. The next thing to think about is Caitlin Clark could get injured again. She could have a flare-up. You never know. She played very hard. She said she played good, but you just don't know with the leggies, okay? So we have to be patient. She might have a flare-up. Also, she might have a flare-up this year and may need to take some games off. Just be prepared for that. Okay. Another thing to ground you. This was a home game, okay? So home games is an advantage. So you can't go, we can beat you anywhere when you don't have a legit record of good away game wins. This team does not. So you give me a win in New York like this, I'll give you a championship. Okay? So, but I love this. This is what you do when you're a dominant. Like, make no mistake, I'm not taking anything away from the beatdown they gave them. Okay? There are so many positives that I'm trying to give you some slight negatives just to give you the other side of it. Keep it balanced. Okay, as a fan, that's my job. Okay, I've been through these things. Okay, I've had my teams have incredible wins like this and then terrible losses right after. Right, it's something that happens in pro sports. Thanks for watching, guys, on the old YouTube machine. If you're not subscribers, I'd really appreciate it. My subscriptions have gone up tremendously in the last 30 days. So thank you, guys. Right now, please back. If you're just joining me, you can back this up and watch everything we just talked about. We were celebrating this win. Okay. But now we're bringing it down to reality. Okay. So the next thing to keep in mind is that the New York Liberty had some injuries. Big JJ was not there. Jones is a tough cat. Jones made a huge difference last game. Jones is a very huge presence. Jones was not there. Now, you may ask me, Jason, if Jones had been there, do you think they lose? No, not this game. Now, I think Jones gives you a 5-point advantage. That's what I think. Like that's the swing. So I think if this had been within 5, I think, yeah, Jones would make a difference. You can't not have her. And clearly, the first game without her, I think it's the first game, they lose. Okay, that shows you something about the impact that Jones makes on that team. Let me ask you this question. The Fever had no Caitlin. I know it's not a comparison, but it's the best one I have. Just to prove my point, to drive it home. The Fever had no Caitlin, and when you'd see them lose, you'd go, well, they didn't have Caitlin, right? And then you bring Caitlin back, they can't be stopped. So that could be the same effect with the Liberty. In fact, I would guarantee that, right? Knowing JJ was out. So now, by the way, I didn't predict a beatdown like this, but I did predict a solid win for the Fever, and they were going to snap this streak because, one, they were on the road, the Liberty. They were due for a loss. Caitlin had momentum. She was going to be tough to stop. They had no Jones. So I thought this was what was so crazy is the Fever, they were a 4-point underdog on the betting lines, and I knew that was a sucker's bet, right? They do that knowing, okay, people are going to take this because it seems like, okay, how can the Fever cover 4? They doubled up on the cover, which is crazy, right? So it would have been a really dumb bet to take that because you just can't bet against the spread when it comes to Caitlin Clark. You can't. This should teach you that. But anyway, my point is that they didn't have their full complement, and so that's something to be thinking about. The other thing you need to know that keeps you grounded is this team is now back to 500. Huge, substantial, crazy win against the champions at home. Huge momentum. Caitlin Clark is THANOS. The GOAT is back. Sure, all these great things. But it's still a 5-5 team. All right. So when you look at it on paper, they don't scare anybody. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The next thing you need to realize is they are so inconsistent. You just don't know what you're going to get in the next game. You just don't. I would really love to say that this team is never going to lose again, but we know that's not possible. And we also know that Kelsey Mitchell is very inconsistent. We know that Sophie has ankle issues. We know that Howard is super inconsistent. Boston has been inconsistent lately. They've been struggling on the boards. They can't hit free throws, right? There's a lot of things that we have to take in consideration before we say crown them king. Now, we can crown Kate the Great. She is GOAT THANOS. No taking away from that. But what is interesting is that I do understand Caitlin does realize this kind of, I remembered something I read in the ESPN article. I won't talk about it now, but I think I'm going to talk about it later. But Caitlin Clark mentioned something in the ESPN article that really stood out to me, that made me understand that Caitlin Clark, knowing that she's in the 2-year of a 4-year rookie deal, I think they all signed a 4-year, knowing that if this doesn't quite pan out this year, next year is going to be a real important year for everybody. Okay, because that's the year you look at extending people, right? because you don't want someone to go into the last year of a 4-year contract and be disgruntled and you haven't extended them. That's just the team showing them that you don't want them. So I'm jumping ahead of myself. My point is, Caitlyn knows her worth as far as a player, as far as a brand, as far as an icon. She knows these things. And I really hope this team that's so inconsistent can appreciate she's going to a championship whether you guys are getting on this train or not. Okay? So it's a weird thing to say this early, and I hadn't really thought that through until she said something in that ESPN article. Check out that article and see if you can find it. But I am going to try to do a show, or I want to do something about a segment because I thought it was extremely interesting. I might just do a show on the article. I thought the article had a lot of interesting things in it. Okay, so that's, I think, the only things I can think about that you need to know as far as being grounded on the hype. Now, the last thing first, let me just look at my notes, see if there's anything important that we need to talk about in the first quarter. Let's see here. I pretty much gave you all of my. I think I gave you all of my my thoughts here. Let's see here. It's really clear that the referees are now calling the game a little more fair, and when they called the game fair, you can't stop Caitlin Clark. She's the K-Trix. Like that. She's like another level. Like, and that's a play on the Matrix, if you're not sure what that means. Some of you younger people, she is the K-Trix. Like, she's just like the K-Trix. K-Trix. She's like, maybe that nickname doesn't work, but I'm trying it. She is unstoppable when they ref it and call the game close. There was a couple of knockdowns, a couple of stops that she got fouled on that last year she didn't get. She didn't get them last year, but she get them this year. So the rules don't work for her. She's outside the rules. She just plays the game so differently that, yes, she's fundamental, but she's on the borderline of just not. She's that gifted. So it is something that the referees are going to have to just yield on. They're going to have to let her be creative. And she doesn't break any rules. She's fundamental, don't get me wrong. She's not traveling or anything. She's not skipping like a lot of these players are. But she's so fast and so quick and so creative, the referees just aren't fast enough to keep up with her. So they need to give her leeway, and they need to call fouls on these people that can't stop her by fouling. Like, you can't foul somebody just because they're too fast for you and just that, okay, let that go. No. So we can't do that anymore. We talked about the glass. I think we talked about all this stuff. There was some smothering defense. I love the smothering defense. Let's see here. I really love that smothering defense. I'm trying to find a graphic here that proves my point. Here we go. So I love that smothering defense. Her team can't finish shots sometimes because she's going so fast, but that's okay. The energy was fantastic. Man, the first couple of quarters. There was a couple of bad turnovers, but we worked with it. Really, I can't, I just feel like the last minute of the second quarter, that's when Caitlyn murdered him. Hello, can I report a murder? She just worked him, man. She murdered him in that 40-second stretch. I thought it was a little longer than 40 seconds, but whatever. Let's see here. Caitlyn got a lot of rest, which is nice. Beef Stewie is a freak. Elbows are freakish. Lexi Hull was taking some shots to the chops. Lexi played really good. I love me some Lexi. I can't say enough about how awesome she is. Kelsey Mitchell was turning to Scottie Pippen, which I loved. There was a dirty foul that was called, but it's okay. They got through it. Then I was really mad about Cloud punching Caitlyn in the face. And then I got grossed out by the announcers calling Brianna Stewart Stewie. I just thought, just call her Beef Stew, because that just seems more appropriate. And then Kelsey Mitchell, man, had a good fourth quarter, went all Scottie Pippen on him. I love that. She's the Scottie to Caitlyn's MJ. I love that. It makes me happy. Guys, thanks for joining me on the old Rumble Machine. My name is Jason J. Daniel. I'm about to wrap up. But here's the last thing that you guys need to know, and this is really important here. Let's see here. I'm going to answer your biggest question. I know you have a big question. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes with my my graphics, I have to take some time here to find the right one. Here it is. Here it is. I know what your question is. Does this win make them a championship contender? It's easy math. Yes, of course. It does. Yes. So after me bringing you down to earth a little bit, I can bring you back up and say this makes them at least a contender to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is what I'm predicting. I'm not sure if I can predict a championship. It's just too early. But with 10 games played, realize it's a 44-game season. We played 10 games. We're like a fourth into it, okay? I can very happily report to you this is a championship contender team. I'll give you some reasons why I think that and back it up. Not just because they beat the previous champions, but yes, that's important. They beat the contending champions. They beat the champions. That's important. Okay. Easy math for you and me. I'll give you another reason why they're a championship contender. They really handled the New York Liberty throwing everything at them. They handled it really well. They did. They really handled the physicality. They handled the elbows. Beef stew throwing elbows. Beef Stewart. They handled that well. They handled Cloud being an immature brat. They handled that really well. They took her out of her game. They handled the physicality. They adjusted when they needed to. They didn't lose the lead against the champions. They handled the runs. The champions, I think, got a 10-point lead on them in the second quarter or something. They came back. I think that's when Caitlin brought them back. But they showed that they can withstand anything this team threw at them. Even without Jones, this team's a winning team, right? The Liberty. But the Fever stood up to them. The next thing you need to know is they weren't even at full complement, the Fever. DB was out. We haven't talked about that. DB was out for personal reasons. DB is good. DB is champion. DB is a game changer at times. DB can take over a game. So even with DB out, they played a masterful game. Another thing we need to know is Natasha Howard was not a factor. So without DB and Howard really being a factor, the Fever dominated. That brings me to my next point to solidify how I think that they're a championship contender. They dominated that team. They didn't get lucky. And they didn't need the New York Liberty to beat themselves, right? Like missing a shot at the end at the buzzer. They beat them. And the Fever had so much control over that game that it was the Fever's to lose. And I love that about a team. Now, we see that a lot with the Fever earlier. They get a huge lead, they look great, and then they lose the lead. That's huge. That they were able to not do that this time. They lost it, but brought it back. They had some struggles in the third. They went flat. They brought it back. I think Colson hit a 3. That brings me to my next point. Colson plays really well as a backup. That's super important. Colson hit, I think it was 2 key threes, distributed the ball, was really judicious with the time when she came in to fill in for Caitlin. Loved that. There was a little bit of maybe there was an overlap, I think, but I loved that. When Caitlin's on the floor, we're all feeling really comfortable with Colson. She's proven herself. The next reason why I think that this team is a championship contender is Ari McDonald came in for a week or so and was then gone and made such a significant impact on this team that we were concerned that there might be a letdown. I mean, I wasn't, you were, but I'll just say we fans collectively, I knew we'd be fine. But that was another test for this team. Rotating parts. That's what a championship team does. They overcame the injury. That's what a championship team does. They struggled, but then they maintained, and they kept this team afloat so Caitlin can come back and not dig them out of a major hole. Another reason why I think they're a championship contender is they went through everything you can go through in 20 days that a team does not want to go through, and they survived it, and they look really, really good. The next thing I can say is their chemistry just looks stronger than ever. This was a great game. The next thing I can say is that leads me to this conclusion, and I'm not just being emotional, I'm being technical, is a championship team plays like this on prime time. There's something about that. There's something about the bright lights, right? Do you perform in a playoff game, an atmosphere? Do you perform when the stakes are high? Do you perform when the lights are bright? They proved that today. Now, it was a home game, but that just they can still translate that on the road. Caitlin Clark is an animal. She has experience with the bright lights. That's super important. Another reason why I think this team is a championship contender is that they put a 102-point beatdown on this team, 88-102. That's a significant beatdown. It's a double-digit win against the defending champions. Another reason why I think that they're a championship contender is that this team that they played is as good as any other team. That's the best of the best, at least from what they're telling us. So that means they can play with the best of the best. You get a win like that, that's WNBA, that's basketball math. That counts. I'm giving you a lot of reasons here, so I'm not coming to this conclusion lightly. The last few reasons is that the first 100-point beatdown, the WNBA, by the way, WNBA does not score 100 points. When's the last time you saw a 100-point WNBA game? They just don't do it. This team can do it. That's what's crazy. Another reason why I think this is a championship contender is Caitlin Clark continues to play so well that there's always a new record or a new thing she's doing. She's always breaking a season this or tying a season that or tying a career high or breaking a career high. She's always raising the bar. And that's because she pushes herself. She never settles. I think this team pushes themselves. I like that. So that's another reason. Another reason is they have a real fierce physical attitude now, which I didn't see before. I like that. I'll give you one more reason. They play better defense. I have not seen this defense like I've seen in the last couple of games. Even though they lost, in the last game, I saw some good defense in the first half. We were seeing them put it together, right? In that last game. So that's so I can say that I think the defense is much better. And I think I've given you all the reasons. I feel like I could continue to go on why I feel confident this is a championship team. But I'll give you the very last reason. Okay? The very last reason why I think this team is a championship team is because Go THANOS snapped her finger and just vanished the hopes and dreams of the Liberty. I don't think the Liberty recovers from this and wins the championship. I think they mentally broke the Liberty. I think Caitlin did. She just went Go THANOS and snapped on all of them. Like, it was fresh. At the end of the game, she's like, I'm ready to go. Like, Caitlin Clark is another level. Nobody has her except the Fever. She's the best player in the WNBA, hands down. I'm sorry. I know that you think that Collier and, I know you think there are other MVPs. They're not. She's the MVP. So if they cheat her again of the MVP this year, it's politics because there's nobody better than her. The MVP is not who scores the most points in the season. No. On a losing team. No. The MVP is the most valuable player in the entire league. It's not on one team. And that's what they did last year. They gave you the most valuable player on one team. That's not how it works. It's never how it works in the NBA. It's not how it works in basketball. It's been hundreds of years of basketball. That's how it works. Not how it works. It's the most important player in your league. And I will even say this. She's the most important player in basketball. More important than anybody right now in the NBA. Yes, I know what I'm saying. I know you think it's crazy. But she is the biggest worldwide multi-billion-dollar. She's a multi-billion-dollar brand. And she proved it. She showed it. So they don't have Go THANOS. They just don't. No one does. And that's why this team is a championship contender. Now, I'm not going to tell you they're going to win the championship because that's crazy talk. I can't do that. But I can tell you they're going to have a really good run at it. If they can get into the Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to be playing this team, New York. Maybe the Dream. The Dream, they got pieces too. So there you go. This is a little bit of a long show. And thanks for watching, guys. I'm wrapping up. There's your show. Great win. So the FIVA take it to The New York Liberty, 32 points, 8 assists, 9 rebounds for the Catrix. She is the greatest we've seen in years, probably 20 years. My name is Jason J. Daniel. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate a sub. Give me the old sub. Click that down here, wherever it's at. Click the sub. Follow me at Real Jason J. Daniel on TikTok, which is where I do my WNBA TikToks. I do a lot of sports. I also post my sports TikToks on the old YouTube machine, so thank you for subscribing. If you've watched me more than once, please give me a comment. I get a lot of comments. I get like 1,000 a week, 1,000 every couple of days on all my social. Get a lot of comments. If you can comment that you watch the show, that'd be cool. Also on X, thank you for doing all that. And again, please follow and sub in all the spots that you would. I appreciate you guys greatly. You guys make me successful on any level that I do this. Without you guys watching, I'm not successful. And I hope you enjoy this. It's only going to get crazier. My last show was my second most watched show ever. Thank you on actually ever, right? I mean, I've had some shows in the past that, I'm sorry, I can't say ever because my older shows, long story. If you follow me, you'll know that I took a break for a long time and went back to podcasting. So my older shows have better numbers, but I just want to say my Fever shows are doing really well. So thank you guys. And I do it because you're watching and I appreciate your feedback. That being said, the Fever smash the Libs. Next game is going to be against Connecticut Sun. That's going to be a good, sweet beatdown. There's no way in hell the Sun beat Caitlin Clark when she's in GOAT THANOS mode. So that's going to be a fun one, and I will be doing a post-game show after that one as well. I'll see you on the flip side, guys. Have a great day, and via con Dios, go with God. Go Fever.